What is up guys, Cyh Kaitoh here. I'm back with another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing a Abyhss deck profile, aka the snake archetype that released together with the Beartix and Doremi card last week in the deck build pack Ancient Guardians. So for those you know that this deck plays around their resources from the grave, spamming themselves by tributing another monsters, as also like the heretics, and they abuse snake rains for quite a lot of reasons. And snake rain is a good card for this deck after like 10 years or so, finally see its full potential. So without further ado, so let's get into the profile. And first of all, I wanted to shout outs to my friend Turin from giving this awesome sleeve. And for you guys didn't know, this is literally a quality sleeve, just like the dragon shields. You don't need another third layers or second layers, basically high quality. So first off, we have the boss monsters. We have two Abyhss. For you guys who didn't know, the effect is when this card is in the graveyard, you can tribute 3 monsters on the field, especially this card from the graveyard. And when this card is face up once during per face up, you can destroy all monsters on the field that is not special summoned from the graveyards. And this effect can even be activated during the opponent's turn. So basically, this is a Black Rose Dragon on legs, but it only destroys a special summon monster that is not from the graveyard that is faced up on the field. So basically, you have a walking Black Rose Dragon and a 3100 attacker every turn you can bring back for free, which I'll show you later how. So I only play 2 because you don't want to draw a lot of these because it's literally a brick. But if you have Snake Rain, then it's fine, you can just ditch it any way possible. And next off, we have the extenders. We have 3 nail. This is your one of your normal summon deck, but you don't do that. Basically, what this card does is you can send this card from hand to the graveyard. If you do, you can send another reptile dark monster from deck to the graveyard, except for himself because it's a light. And if you have no monster on the field, or the monster you only control are a beast, you can special summon this card from the graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if you use this effect to summon, you can only summon reptile monster for the rest of the turn, but that doesn't matter because mostly all your decks are reptiles, and mostly you will do other extended combos before you conducting your Abyhss, so it doesn't really matter. And next up, we have the searchers. We have 3 nil, or nihil they call it. Basically, what this card does is the same as snail. You can discard this card from hand and send another reptile from deck to the graveyard, and except that this card sends a light, and with this card is normal or special summon, you get to search a Abyhss spell trap. So basically, this is your searchers, and it's a level 4, so keep that in mind. It will come in handy. And also, it doesn't matter its attack defense is high, which is higher. You just want to normal summon it, search your stuff, and then you just tribute it for your other Abyhss monsters. So the searchers, of course, we're playing the 3 pieces, you don't want to miss any single one of it. And then next we have 1 Zoa. This is also one of your normal summons, but it doesn't have on summons effects. Basically, what this card do is, if this card is sent from field to the graveyard, or special summon from the graveyard to the field, you may activate this effect. If you do, your opponents draw a card, and you can search 1 Abyhss monster from deck to hand. After that, both players get to discard a card from their hand to the graveyard. It doesn't matter if your opponent draws a card. What matters is you get to search and discard it for literally for free grave piling, and also you have another effects to countering the parts that your opponent draws a card, and which is coming in handy. And the second effect is, if this card is in the graveyard, you can ditch any hand cards to add it back, which is kind of nice. It's a free follow if you think of it, and also it unclogs your hands. And for the other boss monsters, we have 1 curse. This is the second boss monster you wanted to summon literally every single turn. What this card does is, if this card is in the graveyard, you can tribute 1 monster you control and special summon this card from the graveyard. And after that, opponent can choose 1 monster from their graveyard to special summon it, but its effect is negated. So if you're doing this during the first turn, it doesn't matter because your opponent's graveyard gonna be empty, and basically it's just hand traps or literally just empty. And all we wanted is the second effect is when this card is special summon, you get to bring back another level 4 or lower Abyss monster from the grave, but it banishes it when it leaves the field. So it doesn't matter because basically if you somehow monster reborn it, monster reborn it, and you can bring back like your nail to search another card for free. So basically you +2, you plus a body, a 2k 4 and a 2k body, and then a search for your next turn, which is nice. And the other boss is one Amnesia, and this card is also can special summon from the graveyard, but it requires 2 tributes. And if your opponent special summon monster from the graveyard, they have to you can send one of your opponent's card from their field to the graveyard. It doesn't target, it activates it if your opponent's monster is special summoned from the graveyard, and then it affects triggers, which is kind of nice. And the second effect is if your opponent's monster is sent from hand or the deck to the graveyard, you get to special summon one light or dark reptile monster from the grave, which is also does not target. Just now I mentioned that by using the effect of Zoa, your opponents draw a card and discard a card. If somehow discards a monster and we have Amnesia in the field, so you basically get to send one for free, and you get to revive one for free. It does came out sometimes, so it's just useful in that ways, and also it's a big body with 2700. And the last boss we play is one Abyhss. Abyhss is also tribute one monster, special summon this card from the graveyard. Also, after that, your opponent get to add one monster from their graveyard to their hand, which is doesn't matter also in the first turn if they don't have a graveyard in the first place. And when this card is special summoned, you get to choose up to 2 reptile monster from the banisher and return them to the graveyard. But basically it doesn't matter, all you want is this free summon, and also the level 8. I'll show you why at the extra deck is combo with this is kind of useful, and you wanted the extra body somehow. And for the sub engine, I play the Invoke engine, 3 Aleister, because if you think of it, this deck doesn't normal summon that much. Somehow it doesn't even normal summon, and if you normal summon Aleister and you search your invocation or soul, and then you can link it away to become your Mekaba, and then after that you just conducting your Abyss combo without worrying about the restriction of can not special summon any monster except for reptile. Basically only Neo got the restrictions, mostly others don't have, so it doesn't really matter. So 3 Aleisters, and for hand traps, triple Maxi, because this deck use up a lot of resources. You need Maxi to cap your opponent in hand, so you get to draw a lot of resources. So yeah, Maxi. And the last hand trap I play is 3 Ash Blossom, because why not? You need to stop opponent from comboing. If you can't combo yourself, neither opponents do. So that's for the monsters. There's a lot of monsters, I believe. And for the spells, triple Snake Lily of the Abyss. This card is literally the bread and butter of the deck, of any reptile decks I've ever seen. Its effects is when activated, you can ditch one reptile monster from deck to graveyard. Also, if you have 5 types or more reptiles in the graveyard, you can special summon one for free. It's also non-target, and also it's a free Foolish Burial. Even though you don't have 5 types in the graveyard, you can activate this just for the Foolish Burial. It doesn't matter, because sometimes you needed the extra resources, and playing 3 is just you can just abuse this card. It's a free monster reborn, and there's a reason why this card is very expensive. I believe now it's almost like 30 to 40 ringgits per piece, which is same as $8 or $10 per piece. And the most obnoxious card in the deck, triple Snake Rain. Basically when you play this deck, you see this card, you just win the duel. It doesn't really matter if your opponent let you resolve, then he might just scoop it up and prepare for next turn, next game. And the one Prosperity, I only play one because you can't risk yourself break off too many pots in your hands, and I play this because you wanted to search your Snake Rain as much as possible. It doesn't matter, you banish all your extracts, you just want to cap those, which is important. And you can't play a Aleister without invocation. 2 invocations, not 3, because your some of your beast monsters states that you need to tribute a monster instead of a card, except maybe Zoa, but that's why I play 2. You don't want to break that much. And also 2 meltdowns for your Aleister plays and your terraforming to search it out. Basically you have 3 meltdowns. And we don't like hand traps. Basically Skullmeisters, DD Crow, Ash Blossom, we wanted to stop it. So 2 call by. And the last anti hand trap is 1 triple tactical talents. People ask me why I don't play cross out, because if you think of it, this deck consumes a lot of resources and you can't afford to waste another hand to cross out. And basically cross out, it's a brick if you doesn't have a real copy. That's why you notice it. I only play 2 kinds of hand traps, and if you play triple tactic talent instead, if your opponent's ashed or somehow they DD Crow, you activate this, you get to draw 2 and you just fill out your resources. Doesn't matter what you draw, you just want your resources, you just want to dig deep, and triple tactic, it just helps you do it. And the last 2 spells are the staples. It's just 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Feather Dusters. Foolish Burial because why not, we play a grave based deck, and Duster because why not, mostly these kind of decks are afraid of floodgates, so we have to clear it. And the last 2 cards I play is 2 Back to the Front, because if you notice, most of your Abyss monster says if this card is special summon, you get to trigger the effect, so you can use this to abuse your Yugioh Abyss. Basically you just bombs the whole field and then next turn you just bring it back for free, and yeah, you just abuse this card. Also, it's not once per turn. You can play this in 3, but I feel like 2 is enough, because if during the early games I don't have enough resources and I draw multiple of this, I will just garnet myself to death. So basically that's the main deck. There's 40 cards, and for the extra deck, that's what the spice came on. 2 Makaba, Self-Explanatory, Aleister, and some of your Abyss are light. If you notice, mostly the small Abyss are light, so yeah. 1 Algatis, the Self-Explanatory as well, popping a card, banish a monster fusion to gain power, and just 1 punch through your opponent's. And 1 Purgatrio. This is the only lineup I play for the Aleister package. I don't play others because some you doesn't even have a chance to summon it out, and you just need those that help you clear boards or make first turn. Yeah, only a small engine. And King of the Fairies, is literally stretches your whole decks. Easy to make rank 4s. 1 Abyss Dweller because rank 4 and why not. 1 Dingrisu because you got several level 8s. You can make it to Dingrisu to free clear card. And the spicy stuff. 1 Rika Stelena and 1, I forgot his name, I believe is Spirit Tree Beast. Basically what this card does is, when this card is tributed with, while it has XC material, you can special summon 1 rank 5 or higher plant type from your deck, extra deck or graveyard. So basically you get to special summon it, and then this card is put as material. And what Spirit Tree Beast does is, once per turn, during your own turn, if a monster spell or trap is activated, you get to attach 1 card from the graveyard with the same type as the activated card and detach it as material. And the second effect, during opponent's turn, if a card effect is activated, you may detach the same type as that card, negate it and destroy it. Basically it's a Mechaba 2.0, but it has to detach the material. So basically during your own turn, if you activate Snake Rain, you get to detach a spell, and if you activate a monster effect, you can detach a monster for free monster negates. So this is just something I found out accidentally for tribute fodders. Sometimes you need it for the extra punch. And for the bread and butter, 1 Almirage, 1 Gartner, 7 Spiratory Aleister package, 1 Cross Sheep. Sometimes you need it for the free summons because you summon out your Abyss, Neo, and Nihil for extra search or extra body. one IP Masquerena, you can make this during the first turn along with Abyhss. I'll show it at the next video of sample video for Abyhss. This is just, you will use it as much as you think you will trust me on it, and you can play IP without Unicorn, self-explanatory, and also one access code target, because this is just absurd making this. So guys, that's it for the deck profile. Let me know in the comment down below what you guys think of this. Does it helpful? And I'll be like to hear it up. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to my channel in any way that you can. And yeah, we'll be back for another video of Abyhss featuring sample videos. The combo I will be doing later. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.